The new iPhone could be here tomorrow, and we break down all the current rumors. Amazon has 3 new Kindles, including the new Kindle Fire, and AT&T's Samsung Galaxy S2 has some real security issues. We're going to talk about that and more on this episode of Gadget Gurus.
Gadget Gurus, episode 67. It's Monday, October 3rd, 2011. That was very different.
Yeah, Jeff was sitting around, and we always like mess around. He was like, let's play some Native American music, and then you bring that up, and it's like reggae, and then you finally found some after like listening to Chainsaws. I don't know.
That's brought to you by SoundJ.com.
That's free.
Why is this so low?
I don't know. So, Jeff, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
Is our Mia Monday shot working? I hope so.
As soon as I get my camera.
We actually remembered today.
Thrown around here.
It's another Mia Monday. Luckily, you lucked out.
Luckily,
Awesome.
luck.
Because Jay works for the government, and the government likes to take like every holiday possible off. So you get like a bunch of off days coming up. So, lucky you. But that does not mean that we're not going to talk about some new gadgets. And the first one here seems like forever ago because so many, different things have happened in the tech world. But this first one was actually announced earlier last week, I believe. And Jeff Bezos, the Amazon CEO, we haven't heard much out of him. Because remember when Amazon was like the premier like web company? I guess it still is, but like now there's so many other players. Like, Amazon like was the first, I don't know, I guess .com to really make it. And, eventually they turned away from selling books, and now they sell, pretty much anything you'd ever want. They actually, we speculated about this a couple of weeks ago that they may have their own tablet coming out. And they announced 3 new Kindles, and the first one being the most impressive, a lot of people were excited about, is the new 7-inch Kindle Fire. Now, this is the most like a full-fledged tablet, I guess you could say. Did the IP change or something?
Apparently.
Awesome. Anyway, so the Kindle Fire is kind of a blend in between, I would say, like a Nook and an iPad, just because the 7-inch form factor, it's $199. It does have some interesting hardware, but the fact is they did not actually stress the hardware. It is literally a device that is meant for consuming Amazon products. I mean, that's essentially what it is.
Basically.
Yeah. And you know how you get an iPad, you can download iBooks, you can use iTunes, all this stuff. But the weird thing is, they don't really push that on you that much. As much as we talk about Apple being, they have all this stuff and whatever. At the same time, they don't really, you have other options. You can download apps. And Amazon is going to have their own app store on there. This is based on a version of Android, but we've never seen this before. It's a highly customized version. Much like, this is why I'm equating it to the Nook Color, because the Nook Color wasn't really a full-fledged tablet, but it did have Android under the hood, and it's been, documented. You can root it and do all this stuff to put signage and mod or whatever on it. So, interesting thing is, it's about the same size as what a BlackBerry Playbook is. And you had some critiques of it. Just first off, looking at that picture there, is you said the screen was really glossy, and once you say that,
I mean, you can see this guy's taking a picture. Either that's like some light
or a flash,
or something, and I mean, it's just glaring out the screen. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I personally don't really care for extremely like glossy screens like that, and it's kind of like a dull glossy, almost like a, I don't know. But it's just a bad glossy. You
can see just in that picture there, I mean, that's something we've never seen on, I mean, that could just be an Amazon app, but at the same time, you see the Angry Birds and a couple apps down there, as well as some books. I mean, the interesting thing is going to couple with, of course, Amazon Prime and things like that. You get your free movie streaming. And right now, let me just go ahead and preface this. It is just a Wi-Fi version. They did not announce a 3G version. Speculation, we probably think another 4 to 6 months they'll probably come out with a 3G version. And the interesting play with that is, how they've treated the Kindles. You just pay like $250 or something for the 3G Kindle, and 3G's free for life. Wouldn't that? That would kind of, interest me more in something like this, let's just say it was, $500 and or something like that, and the 3G is free for life. I mean, that sounds pretty awesome considering, an iPad, relatively the same thing, is $500 plus if you got or $600 if you got a 3G one, and then you had to pay, $30 a month every month. So
yeah.
It is going to play hand in hand. I mean, you got Amazon Instant Streaming. You can download the Amazon. I'm assuming it'll come pre-launch with the Amazon App Store for Android. So a lot of the cool Android apps will be there. Not all of them, of course, because they would have to be in the Amazon App Store. The other interesting things is they already have Amazon MP3, which I've downloaded a couple from there, because I've started to buy my music from there because it's the same price as iTunes, and you can play it on any device. They actually give you an MP3 file. It's not like Apple's proprietary thing that they only allow you to sync to like 5 devices or something. So I've always been kind of iffy about that, and it still works great in iTunes. So if you use iTunes, you can do that. So 7-inch screen, and they did not focus on the insides whatsoever. And we like to break down that stuff, but honestly, for a $200 tablet, the specs aren't what you're looking at. I mean, you're looking at something, you buy this for your kids or your mom or yourself or whatever, and you just want it to work. I mean, that's how people treat an iPad, or especially an iPad. I know, like, one of my friend's moms just bought an iPad, and, she doesn't care that it has if it had a dual-core chip, as long as it plays, solitaire and watches. Get on that Facebook. Yeah, the Facebook. The funny thing is, no Facebook app for iPad. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But I don't know if this video is worth watching. But, there is a little bit of a demo.
If I can get out of their stupid gallery. I hate stinking... I mean, Engadget, all props to you for doing whatever. Get a better freaking gallery that doesn't, like, completely take you away and then, like...
Yeah, I know. Then you're like, oh, but I want to go back to the
like,
post.
15,000 things and...
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not too crazy about this being... I mean, we pretty much knew it was going to be a highly customized version of Android. But as an Android, like, I like Gingerbread a lot. And, I don't know about Honeycomb, but I'd almost rather have Honeycomb than, this highly customized thing. But if it works... MG Siegler first had it about two or 3 weeks ago. He said that, it's going to be kind of like CoverFlow on the iOS devices. And it does look a lot like that. I don't know. I haven't watched this video. It's 6 minutes long, so... Okay, we don't want to watch that. Never mind. But, I mean, it's gonna have the Kindle app for Android on there. I mean, you're going to be able to read your books. And I don't read too many books on Kindle, but one thing I was impressed with is... yesterday I was reading on a car ride that we took, that we were I don't know, we drove for like 2 or 3 hours, and I was reading a book on my Kindle app for iPad. And the cool thing was, obviously I didn't have Wi-Fi, but I paired it up with my phone for a while just to do some browsing on my iPad, and it synced right up. I mean, it only took seconds, and even if I didn't have, that cross-platform syncing is something I've always liked about it. And, yeah, I don't know, I mean, it's pretty cool. So, they also announced the Kindle Touch, which is kind of a touch-friendly version. It is e-ink, and that's what's spotlighted in this here. They actually introduced this new lighted leather case, which isn't really... I just got that because it's kind of a cool picture. But another interesting thing they're announcing is this new Silk browser, and it's actually going to work on all of their devices that can search on the internet, the newest ones at least. So, the weird thing is... they are caching. I don't know how to explain this. What they do is, I mean, they're saying that they kind of pre-render a lot of major websites on their servers, and then they send it to you. And they're saying that by doing this, they are able to not only obviously make it faster, but also they can take out some of the things that slow down the web loading speeds. So whether it's Flash content, whether it's ads or something like that, they may be able to take those out. And, when you're thinking about like an e-ink reader that you might want to just go on there and read some text on the internet, like they show on here, it's got Engadget's homepage. I mean, it's in black and white, but at the same time, I mean, it looks like the full web page. They did lower the price of the regular Kindle to $79.99, which I think is a really cool price. it is still ink, and they did drop having a keyboard, which I'm not too crazy about. But if you're reading books on the thing, unless you have like 50,000 books or something, you're gonna try to read. Whatever. I mean, you don't really need to worry about that. But so they did drop the keyboard. I don't know though. I mean, if you're into Kindles and things like that, $79, pretty awesome price. And the lowest one I think was 99, so they dropped it at $20. So pretty cool, if I don't say so myself. So let's move on to our next story here. This is an interesting one. I've been following this. A couple people have spotlighted this on YouTube. Is this Galaxy S2 security hole? Now, Jake, you talked about this one, and
whoops, we went to that one, didn't we?
that was just the case or whatever. This is pretty funny. Now, Samsung has their TouchWiz UI. I think they're on 3.0 now, and that's what ships with the Galaxy S2. And the AT&T version is the only one that has this issue. I mean, I've seen some guy that he had a review unit or whatever, and he had all three or all four, however many Galaxy S's there are, running the same TouchWiz, but for some reason, they customized it for AT&T or something, and they just completely screwed up the lock screen.
Of course.
So, I don't know what version it was. It like Android's had this pattern lock for some time. They may have even had it from originally or whatever. But one thing that iPhone's never. I mean, I'm not too big of a fan because whatever. But anyway, they have a pattern lock. I know a lot of people who use Android devices use it, and it's pretty cool. You've got the 3 rows of.
I mean, if you're really
dots.
That worried about someone getting into your phone, I'm like, maybe you shouldn't be like storing.
I mean, I don't even have
on there that you're worried about people getting.
It turns out that it just hinders me from unlocking my screen faster. So I just have
like you're driving on the road, and you're going.
Yeah.
That doesn't work,
But I know some people who do it for
now with
various
AT&T.
Oh yeah.
It's really easy. You just press the lock button, wait till the screen goes back to sleep, and then press it again. Hey, it unlocks the phone.
Now this is a 15-second video from Boy Genius Reports, and he just shows it really quick. If you want to play that, I mean, it's pretty funny. It's a pretty big security problem, and I mean, obviously somebody will have to have your phone with you, or with them. They'll have to take it, but I mean, if you're that worried that you have a lock on your phone, you might want to think about
a lock on your phone is not going to do any good if someone takes your phone and just smashes it in the ground with their foot.
Yeah.
Hey, now your phone doesn't work. It's still just as bad. A pattern on the keyboard is not going to prevent that.
Yeah.
So who cares, Yeah. That's the way I look at it, but that's just me. So here's the video of them showing how to break the phone.
This is a great hacker trick if you want to show all your friends. Be like, hey, I can steal your phone information or something. So you don't hit any buttons. You just let it go off. It times out after a couple seconds. And then there's the regular lock screen for TouchWiz. And you just slide it up.
It's pretty funny.
I mean, it's one of those things you're just like, okay. So there you go. I mean, it's just something I thought was pretty funny. I mean, it is a pretty big hole. And that's one of those things you're like, how did that make it out? Because I mean, that's Android's premier lock screen, pretty much. I mean, I know a lot of people just do it because it's funny or whatever, but whatever. So,
I made mine so complicated I forgot what it was.
Yeah, I've done that before. I tried using it, and I was like, you can do up to 8 swipes or something. And I was like, let me make this as hard as possible, and then I'm like, crap.
See, I'm gonna spell my name out.
Yeah,
and then.
I don't know. I mean, I know some people that live by those, but honestly, I'm just like you. I mean, if I want to get into my phone, I want to get into it as fast as possible. I'm just like, oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one. That was the one.
Well, I mean, like when I get on my phone, I'm just like,
drag down and there you go.
Then go. I mean, I don't want to have to sit there and go.
Oh man, wrong one. Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people have always liked it just because that was part of it.
You go 5 times clockways, 6 times counterclockwise, plus sign, minus sign, X.
All right, so let's get into these iOS, new iOS, and also I keep wanting to say iPhone announcements tomorrow.
Hey, look, they got a new iPod out. What?
Oh, yay! So pretty much,
What's
I mean,
that?
a lot of people have known that we're gonna have an event tomorrow. Apple even leaked a couple things to, I think it was Apple Insider, saying, hey, the new iCloud's coming out to on Tuesday, which is I guess the 4th, if I'm not mistaken. And there's still been a lot of, last time it was pretty obvious because they found the iPhone 4. Remember that? Gizmodo found it, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, this can't be the iPhone 4 because, it has those weird buttons on the side, and people were like, oh, they won't do that. And then, of course, they did. So I think the biggest thing for me is this could be the first iPhone announcement that Steve Jobs has not done himself.
What?
And I know everybody...
He'll come back. He'll be like, I'm back!
Yeah. And Tim Cook, is not Steve Jobs. And that's the thing about Apple events is Apple gets so much press because Steve Jobs is going to walk up there and be like, yeah, we got these iPods and blah, blah, blah.
He'll be like, oh my gosh, it's Steve Jobs!
Yeah. And then, one more thing, here's an Apple TV.
Hey, one more thing, here's an Apple sweater! Yeah. You're like, what?
But, we still don't know if it's going to be the Apple 4S is what people are calling it, like an upgraded, just barely upgraded iPhone 4, or will it be a whole new version like the iPhone 5? And I don't get into this because, honestly, I have better things to do than sit around and be like, and plus, I'm not an iPhone guy. Like, if I was planning on buying this, I might check into it because, I'd be like, oh.
But, like, some other people
might
want to, look at this constantly.
Who should not be named. So here's some of the things that Ben Parr, he's a great writer for Mashable. He said, we'll probably have a A5 chip, a 1 gigabyte of RAM, and have a powerful 8 megapixel camera, a revamped camera application, whatever. And of course, we'll have all the new iOS 5 stuff that's coming through here. But you know what? A lot of people are jumping out on a limb and saying it may have a bigger screen. It could have like a completely different hardware design. It could be a lot thinner, whatever. And, we always see this. But I honestly do. I know a lot of people, it makes sense to have a bigger iPhone now since there's so much competition on the Android side with all the choice and everything. But at the same time, I don't know. You know what I mean? You actually think that they're going to release something that's not 3.6 or 3. Whatever size the iPhone 4 is? Can you see them coming out with like a 4-inch iPhone?
No, they're pretty much set in that size factor. I really don't see much what they could do with it. I don't see them putting that beveled back on it. They've already gone flat with the iPhone 4.
Yeah.
They're not going to put that round back on it. Look, it's now thinner. Like, no, you just beveled the edges more.
I wasn't too big. I kind of like the iPhone 4 design, but I don't like the glass all the way around because I've seen so many people, if it's at school, if it's at, somewhere with cracked iPhone screens.
That's a great one.
We'll just let's Photoshop the iPhone like 2G, and then we'll just bring over the sides a little bit more.
Let's make this thing paper thin.
So...
that would be funny if that's what it is.
What? Just like a...
No, that right there.
Oh.
He's using it. Get him.
Yeah. Let's cycle through some of these. We always see these when it comes out.
Would be awesome if it was like a screen that was the whole thing.
Which Apple? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. And now it's going to run,
Here's one that can shave your face on the bottom.
Yeah.
And here's one that is just a glossy piece of glass.
Yay.
And here's one that we just took the regular iPhone and just shrunk it down. And here's the exact same thing. I could see them making a bigger screen like that, maybe.
Like more screen,
but same size phone.
Yeah.
I could see them doing that, but not much of anything else, really.
I don't know.
See, now Mashable knows how to do a gallery.
Yeah,
it's right there, built into the blog. It doesn't take you nowhere. You don't got to go back.
What I like is they have a little... If you go under it, it actually has view as one page, and that doesn't always work on my Android device, just because I think it's some weird thing. And you just click right there. And
and there you go.
Yeah, and they're all in the line. I like that. That's just something I like.
I like it a lot.
Whee. So anyway, we're getting preoccupied with the whatchamacallit. So, and Ben Parr asked the question. He says, "Is an iPhone 4S really something that will disappoint a lot of people?" And I right now talking to a lot of people that I know who have iPhones, they're not going to upgrade off this phone. And I know I'm not talking to like Leo Laporte or something, because of course Leo will be like, "Oh yeah, the new
a free one, sweet, I'll upgrade, sure, whatever."
And I'm sure a bunch of people, some
people might. because they're like, oh, I gotta have the latest.
Well, yeah. You know somebody's going to upgrade just because they're like, oh, new iPhone? Okay.
New iPhone, throw the old one away.
Yeah.
I don't have any money because I use my credit cards for iPhones.
And now here's a great time to mention our new sponsor, Gazelle.com. Once the new iPhone comes out, you can sell your old iPhone for about $100.
Yeah, for about a fourth of what you paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, yeah.
And, you know, I've looked at some of the rumors and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And we have seen some new, case manufacturers that have kind of said, hey, here's some new ones. They leaked it in a press release, all right? We got the new iPhone.
Did we actually release the cases already?
And I'm kind of like you. I just can't see them doing a bigger phone. Like you said, I can see them maybe making an even higher resolution screen, maybe even stretching it out.
Something like that, maybe. Not with this big old nasty button thing.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, and I think, especially with the iPhone 4S or the iPhone 5, I mean, the biggest thing is going to be the 1 gig of RAM and also the faster processor, which isn't much faster, but it will make a difference, especially on the iPhone. And, I think a big part of it is going to be iOS 5 because, they're implementing the new Android pull-down bar, the iPhone exclusive pull-down bar that they came up with.
That they're going to sue
Yeah.
Android for.
Yeah.
I know, you guys, we did this back in the day. We had this on our Norton or whatever it's called.
Newton.
Our Newton.
Yeah.
We had a drag down. They didn't have touchscreen. I don't care. It had something like that, and he went up there and.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I just can't see them doing something out of the ordinary. I can see a 4S and I can maybe see a 5, but I can't see.
I can't see an 8 or a 10.
Yeah, maybe
because that doesn't even
iPhone
make any
10.
sense.
Jeff was joking around earlier before the show. You're like, oh, they're gonna announce the iPhone 28 tomorrow.
Yeah.
If I had an iPhone 4 right now,
they're coming out with iPhones like they're coming out with Firefox releases.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Major revision change. I'm like, you didn't do nothing except just fix a couple things.
I know.
You can't increase the major revision number. Whatever.
I don't know. Jeff, let's talk about, since we have a little extra time here because we didn't spend very much time as we normally do on iOS and releases and stuff. I want to talk a little bit about this new task managing app I started using, and it's been out for a while, and it's called Wunderlist.
Wunderlist.
I assume I'm saying that right. Let me find you.
Wunderlist.
I actually came across this. It was in the Android App Store, and I was just searching around, and somebody, I don't know, showed it to me or something else. Actually, you got it. Yeah.
Wunderlist.
Wonder. I like
Wonder.
Wunderlist.
Wonder.
Wunderlist.
It's not Wunder.
Wunder.
It's just
like
Wonder.
I like it.
Because it's under.
Wunder. I like Wunder. Just it's
No,
funny
you
to
don't
say.
like that at all.
And they have like a. Well,
Here
actually,
it is.
Actually, here, go to this. I'll put it in the chat.
I'll just put it right here. And we're going to websites live here, guys. I don't know what this is going to be. I could get rickrolled. There you go.
There it is. So here's our website, and it's a cross-platform.
Wunderlist.
Wunderlist. Sounds German or something. And I think it is.
Or just
Wunderlist.
Wunderlist.
They even have an Ubuntu version that they have now, which is brand new. But they have a Mac OS version, a Windows version, iPad, iPhone, and Android. So I mean, they're cross-platform, and they also have a Chrome.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, they have a Chrome application. And the cool thing is, it's highly customizable, and I really like it just because it's simple. And honestly, there's so many that do this, but this one does it very easily. They even have a Gmail plugin through the apps and stuff, or whatever, the labs or whatever, and you can actually, like, if Jacob emailed me and say, hey, what are you doing at 7 tomorrow morning or something, and you know how Gmail will say, hey, it's 7, do you want to put that on your calendar? Well, you can actually, it'll integrate with Wunderlist, and it'll send that to it. And I've seen people who've used this for anything from just saying my grocery list all the way to putting their show notes for like a podcast, for instance, in there. And the cool thing is you can segment them into days. So if, like, let's just say, for instance, since we do Fab Lab on a monthly basis, I could put every Fab Lab. I mean, you could use it almost like a calendar app.
So basically, you're talking about, it's kind of like Evernote, but it adds in more things.
See, Evernote it's kind of like a Evernote is I love Evernote because I save all kinds of stuff. I mean, I'll save pictures or whatever I need. I almost use Evernote kind of like Dropbox. I mean, it's sort of like that. Not exactly, but it's more focused on tasks. You know what I'm saying? So, and the thing is, it's cross-platform, so I can go on here right now through their web version, and then it'll show up as soon as I open up the Android version. That's what I like about it, and that's what I need. I need something that whether I'm on my iPad or my Android phone or my whatever computer I'm using at the time, I need it to be there. So they even have a website that you can use. So it's pretty awesome, and you can actually share lists with other friends or whatever. So if I want to be like, hey, Jeb, here's what you need to do today or something.
And it went up ridiculously in the past couple days.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just something I like, and it's something that I enjoy to use. You can go to About and everything. And I do like the fact that they just came out with an Ubuntu version, and that's what cued me in to try it again. And, it's really simple, but it's one of those apps that just does the trick for me. And, they make a great Android app.
Speaking of apps.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of apps, I downloaded this app today, actually, and Nick probably doesn't really care about this, but for other people that have, bills and things
that's cool.
that you need to pay, I found this app called My Bills, and it's basically like a place where you can go in there and add all your bank accounts, all your credit cards, bills, everything. It has a list of stuff, and you just go in there, and so you have Comcast. You go in there and
that's very cool.
Type in your Comcast username and password. It automatically pulls it all in.
Oh, okay. So they're syncing with.
Yeah, it does it through the website. So they've gone through and actually set all these up, so you can actually pull these in without getting the charge for the the API access or anything, because none of these websites really have APIs. They're doing it all via the web page, I think, or something like that, or I don't know.
But so it actually communicates with Comcast. So you're not. This is one of the things I've ran into with banking apps or whatever. If it's not synced with your bank account, you're always having to enter it separately, and you don't.
And what's really cool is that this app, after you put in all your apps, all your
services or bills or whatever,
your loans, bank accounts, whatever you got, investments, anything.
Right.
After you put them all in, it'll actually go in there and it'll ask you. It says, set up a. You got to do 3 things. You got to do a security question and an answer.
Okay.
You got to type in a PIN, a 4-digit PIN.
All right.
And then you also have to go in there and verify your email address just by clicking that. So it's 3-way verification. And then when it's on your phone, all you got to do is type in that 4-digit PIN to open up the app. And all your stuff is already there, automatically pulls it back in. So, instead of having to type in all these different logins and, all that stuff, and it's just with a 4-digit PIN for all of it. And you can see, you can't pay them or anything through the app, which is fine because I really wouldn't want to do that through someone else's app.
Yeah.
But it's secure. It's through whoever it's called. Page Once, and they're a website that has a bunch of stuff. But it's got a 4.5 rating, so that's not bad. But it's got like calendars. You can it pulls in everything, so it's a really cool interface because it shows you.
I like that.
What's coming up next. See here, you got like a calendar. It shows you when stuff's due, how much money's due, and all that stuff. It's got some pie charts that show you things and all that.
Huh.
So.
And also, I assume that you could set up like notifications or something to say, "Hey,
I've notify you."
That's pretty cool.
On your status bar when a new bill's available or when it's due.
Sweet.
But it's pretty cool. And of course, you just go pay it somewhere else because they're not going to do all that through there.
But still, pretty awesome.
But yeah, you can add pretty much any service whatsoever. You can actually do them manual, and what they do is you go in there and add in the service, and it will try to find it, and then you basically select the data that you want to pull in, and it'll automatically pull it in. So, and it was really cool if you ever try to get use third-party programs with your bank. sometimes your bank will charge you like $5 a month for doing that.
Yeah.
They see you accessing it, and they'll say, $5 a month.
Right.
Well, this way, it doesn't actually charge you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you don't want to be paying.
Yeah, like $5 a month. They're like, oh, it's just $5 a month. I'm like, yeah, it's $5 a month. Stop billing me $5 a month.
Yeah. So it's free in the Android market.
Yeah, which is really cool. It's got a little tiny ad down at the very bottom, but hey, who cares?
Alright. That's awesome.
And they got a pro one that's got it's like $13. Which it ends up having a bunch of other stuff as well as I think paying bills. So it's pretty cool.
Sweet. Alrighty. Well, I guess that pretty much does it for this episode of Gadget Gurus. As always, you can follow Jacob on Twitter, twitter.com/that freaking huge FREAK.
That freaking huge.
That freaking huge. If you go there, it'll go directly. No, not really. Freaking huge, FREAKINHUGE, and JFRoberts.me is his blog, as well as JFRoberts.me/plus. Goes to his Google Plus account. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/thatnickjones. Nickjones.me is my blog, and gplus.to/nickjones is my Google Plus account. Also, you can follow pbcasttv on Twitter, twitter.com/pbcasttv, pbcasttv.com, or pbcast.tv. Thank you, Smoothie, for that one. And like us on Facebook. If you do Facebook, I know a lot of people, they're on Facebook. They don't go on Twitter or whatever. That suits me. Everything that we post on Twitter and to our blog and whatever is also cross-posted to Facebook. So if you like that kind of stuff, there you go. And also, one more thing, all of our episodes are posted on iTunes as well as YouTube. So youtube.com/pbcasttv, and just search pbcasttv on iTunes, or I think we're in a couple other places. Wherever you can find a video podcast, we're probably there. So
just randomly search different databases for us, and you might find us.
Yep. So until next time, I'm Nick Jones.
And I'm Jacob Roberts.
This has been another episode of Gadget Gurus.
Peace.